Hi everyone, welcome to Chemo Gemo. Today I have a great recipe for you. This is a classic Georgian recipe that people go crazy about. This is truly a national dish. It's called khīnkali. It's the Georgian version of the ravioli, probably is the closest dish, or dumplings. These are the ingredients that we're going to need. Alright, so some meat, two different kinds of meat here, lamb and beef, red pepper, some black pepper, some salt, some cumin, just a little bit of cumin, some garlic, onion, and flour of course, and some water. And that's it. About 1 kilo of flour, 2 pounds of flour, and also about 2 pounds of meat. Alright. What I'm going to do instead, we're going to make a well. We're going to make this dough all by hand. Alright? Authentic recipe. Let's do it the way it's done in the villages in the mountains. A recipe that comes from the mountains in Georgia. It's going to be a heavy kind of dough. It's not going to be quite as elastic as pasta dough. So about half the amount, a little bit less than half the amount of water compared to the flour. So about 400 grams of flour right now. About 1 kilo of flour here. And some salt. That's all really that we need. The salt is going to make it develop some gluten so that it's going to be easier to stretch. Now all we're going to do is we're just going to start to slowly incorporate the water into the flour. Take your time. When you're in the kitchen, especially when you're working with the dough, you cannot be nervous. It's going to probably take about 30-40 minutes just to make the dough. Then you have to kind of let it rest for another half an hour or 1 hour. And use cold water. So it's going to take some time to make this dough. Make sure you don't incorporate all the flour at once, because otherwise you'll be working on it for days. Alright? It's already taking shape, but it still comes back when you press on it. It's a little bit too elastic still. So it needs to slowly incorporate some more of all of this flour, or at least most of it, before we're ready to let it rest. Now, how do I work the dough? You have to be really energetic with this dough because it has to be strong, so you have to use some power. So the good thing about making your flour by hand is that it's healthy for you. You lose some calories because the dough will be stronger. It will be able to withstand that juice because you want to have as much juice as possible inside the khīnkali. There's our broth with onions, 1 garlic, and both kinds of meat. Just a little part of the, small part of the entire meat filling that we're going to use. Beef and lamb. I'm going to chop up some onions, garlic, some red pepper. I'm going to roll out the dough. This is the first of the 3 pieces. Now you don't want to roll this out too thin. It's not like a pasta. It's going to be a little bit thicker than usual, and then we're going to use any tool that you have in order to make some circles. Alright, I'll show you what thickness you want it to be. Now you're going to basically form individual khīnkali. Make sure that they don't dry out. That's the thickness. That's about the thickness that you want before you flatten each one of these again. I added about half a teaspoon of salt. One teaspoon and another half. Okay? Now, I have the broth here. This is the important part because the filling has to be quite liquid for that juice to form. For the khīnkali to be juicy. And it's not just the meat filling, but the meat juices that make it special. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little bit of a mixture. I'm going to use some of this broth that we made for about half an hour, low heat. Beef and lamb, onions in there, and that's it. That's our meat. Now we're going to add the liquid. A little bit at a time. A little bit at a time. A little more. Okay, now we're going to just mix. We're going to mix it until it's going to be the right consistency. Watch that consistency. All right. So these are the individually formed khīnkali that I'm keeping dry. Now we're going to form each one. This is the most important part of making khīnkali that probably takes the longest. Keep this. What I usually do is keep them covered and then form them one by one. There you go. You don't want it to be too thin. So there you go. That's quite an elastic piece. And now we're going to fill. I'm going to place these one by one on this wooden board as I form them. Now, watch this. So take about a teaspoonful of meat filling, put it in the middle. And now with your hands, start to fold them. Make folds like this and help with your second hand. 3, 4, 5, supported. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 17, and then the last one kind of hold it together. So it's also pinch it right at the top. And you have it. You have your first khīnkali. You can tear off the excess. Like that. There you go. That's your first one. What you want to do is you want to keep this covered at all times. So it doesn't dry up. Like that. Like so. All right. Throw in our khīnkali. Now you need a wooden spoon for this. So it doesn't stick, so they don't stick. Huh? Alright, those are the first 10 we made. These are the classic ones. Alright, so there's one. You don't want to throw too many of them. Make sure you use the wooden spoon. I put some cilantro. This is another alternative for it. Guys, watch this khīnkali. This is how you eat it. Alright? Watch the juice. Bite into it. Look, there's plenty of juice in there. Look. Eat it together in one bite.